Hello everyone, and welcome to English Echo Pod, the channel that helps you improve your English listening and speaking skills while learning something useful and interesting for your life. I'm so happy you are here with me today. Whether you are at home, on the bus, walking outside, or just relaxing, thank you for choosing to spend this time with me. Together, we will explore new ideas and practice English in a fun and easy way. Today, we have a very important topic to talk about: overcoming the fear of failure. Yes, you heard that right. Today we are going to talk about failure and why it matters so much for you, for me, and for everyone. Now you might think, failure? Isn't that something scary? Isn't that something I should avoid? Well, maybe yes, sometimes. But in many cases, understanding and overcoming the fear of failure can actually help you grow, improve, and achieve your dreams. We are talking about this topic because so many people feel stuck in life. They want to do something new, they want to learn a new skill, they want to change something, but they stop themselves. Why? Because they are afraid to fail. They are afraid they will not succeed. They are afraid people will laugh at them, or they are afraid they will make a mistake. I understand this because I have been there too. But here's the truth. If you never try, you also never open the door to success, growth, and new experiences. In this episode, I want to explain why. You see, we are talking about this topic because so many people feel stuck in life. They want to do something new, they want to learn a new skill, they want to change something, but they stop themselves. Why? Because they are afraid to fail. They are afraid they will not succeed, they are afraid people will laugh at them, or they are afraid they will make a mistake. I understand this because I have been there too. But here's the truth. If you never try, you also never open the door to success, growth, and new experiences. In this episode, I will share with you simple and clear ideas about what failure really means. We will talk about why people fear failure and why understanding it is so important if you want to live a full and exciting life. We will look at some easy examples that you can understand and connect to your own life. And most importantly, we will talk about small steps you can take to start facing your fears and trying new things, even if you are scared. By the end of this episode, I promise that you will have a better understanding of why failure is not always bad. In fact, it is often the key to reaching your goals. You will also feel more motivated to try one small thing in your own life. Maybe something simple like speaking English with someone new, trying a new activity, or sharing your ideas at work or school. Remember, at English Echo Pod, we believe that learning English is not just about words. It's about growing your confidence, your courage, and your life. So, are you ready? Let's take this journey together. Let's talk about why overcoming the fear of failure is important in life. Stay with me and let's begin. What does failure really mean? So, let's start by asking a very simple question. What does it mean to fail? Many people hear the word failure and think it's something dangerous or something bad. But failure is not always a bad thing. Failure simply means doing something where you don't get the result you wanted. It means doing something where there is a chance that things might not go the way you planned. For example, you set a goal to get a high score on an English test, but your result is not what you expected. Or you apply for a new job but you don't get it. That is a failure. However, it's important to remember that failure always comes with a lesson. Every time you fail, you have an opportunity to understand better what did not work and what you need to improve. For example, imagine you want to try a new food you have never eaten before. You don't know if you will like it. Maybe it tastes strange, or maybe you love it and it becomes your favorite food. If your cooking attempt doesn't work out, that's a small failure, but you learn that next time you need to add more spices or cook longer. Or think about when you meet a new person and start a conversation in English. You don't know if they will understand you, or if you will understand them, or if you will make a mistake. But you take the chance. Maybe the conversation doesn't go very smoothly, you make mistakes, or you don't understand everything. That is a small failure, but you have learned how to react, how to try to explain, and you have practiced your English. Next time you will feel more confident. There are small failures like these in everyday life, and there are also bigger failures. For example, changing your job can lead to failure if the new job is not a good fit. You leave something you know and you go to something new that you don't know. Moving to a new city or country is another big change. You leave your home, your family, and your friends, and you go to a new place where you have to start again. But with bigger failures, there is often a chance for bigger lessons and significant growth. You can grow, learn, and find new success. Let's take another example from learning English. Maybe you want to join a class or speak up in a group. You feel nervous because you are not sure if your English is good enough. You are afraid people will laugh, or you are afraid you will make a mistake. But if you never take the step to try, you will never know how much you can improve. Every time you speak, every time you practice, you face a small possibility of failure, but that small possibility of failure can lead to big improvement. Why do we fear failure? This is a very important question. The answer is often fear. Fear is a strong feeling that stops many people from trying new things. Fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons people don't try. They think, what if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if I look stupid? These thoughts are normal, but they can keep you stuck in the same place for a long time. Another reason people avoid failure is the fear of change. Change can feel uncomfortable because it takes you away from what you know and into the unknown. Even when people are not happy where they are, they often feel safer staying the same because it's familiar. Trying something new means stepping into something unknown, and that can feel scary. But without change, it's hard to grow or improve. There's also the fear of judgment from others. People worry about what others will think or say if they try something and fail. What will my friends say? What will my family say? Will people laugh at me? This fear can be very strong, especially when you are learning something new like a language or a skill. But here's something important to remember. Most people are too busy with their own lives to judge you. And the people who really care about you will support you, even if you make mistakes. So, to sum it up, fearing failure means you are worried about not achieving the desired outcome when you try something. People often avoid failure because they are afraid of the result, afraid of change, or afraid of what others will think. But when we understand this, we can start to look at failure in a new way. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, we can see it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to experience something new. Why is failure important for your growth? We have been talking about what failure means and why many people fear it. Now let's focus on something very exciting. Why failure is so important in your life. You see, when we face failure and learn from it, we open the door to personal growth, new chances, and real success. Let's explore this together step by step. First, failure helps you grow as a person. When you fail, you are forced to look back and analyze what went wrong. This helps you learn new skills, discover new ideas, and become stronger. Even when failure doesn't work out perfectly, you still learn something important about yourself. You become more open-minded and more ready for the next challenge. Failure also opens new opportunities. When you dare to try and are not afraid to fail, you allow new things to come into your life. For example, if you apply for a job that feels a little too difficult, you might not get the job. But maybe you will meet someone who offers you something even better. If you join an English conversation group and struggle, you might make a new friend who helps you practice more. Life is full of hidden opportunities, but you can only find them when you are brave enough to try and not afraid of failing. Another important reason is that failure builds confidence and strength. Every time you face failure, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Let's say you decide to give a short talk in English at work. You feel nervous, but you prepare and you do it. Even if you make a few mistakes, you will feel proud afterward because you faced your fear. That experience, even a small one, builds your confidence. The next time, you will feel a little stronger and a little braver. Over time, these small moments of courage make you a much more confident person. Failure also helps you learn from your mistakes. We often think of failure as something bad, but in fact, failure is one of the best teachers in life. When you fail, you learn what doesn't work. You understand what you need to improve. Imagine you take an English exam and don't pass. Yes, it feels disappointing at first, but now you know where your weak points are and you can work on them. Without that attempt, you wouldn't know how to get better. Many successful people in business, sports, art, or science failed many times before they succeeded. What made them special was not that they avoided failure, but that they kept learning and trying again. Finally, failure can bring success and achievements. Without facing failure, there is often no lesson and no progress. Think about famous inventors, great athletes, or talented artists. They all had to face challenges and often failed to reach their goals. They had to risk their time, their energy, and sometimes even their money. But because they took those chances, they were able to create something new, reach big dreams, and achieve great things. In your own life, success might not mean becoming famous, but it can mean achieving your personal dreams. Learning a language, starting a business, moving to a new place, or making a difference in your community. Whatever success means to you, it almost always starts with the courage to try and learn from what doesn't work. So, as we finish this part, I want you to remember this. Failure is not about jumping into something crazy or dangerous. It's about carefully stepping out of your comfort zone, trying new things, and opening yourself to the possibility of growth, learning, and success. It's okay to feel fear. Everyone does. But when you face small, smart challenges, you make your life bigger, richer, and more exciting. How can you start facing the fear of failure? So far, we've talked about why overcoming the fear of failure is important and why people fear it. But maybe you are thinking, how can I start? I don't feel ready to face big failures. That's okay. You don't have to start big. In fact, the best way to begin is by facing small, safe challenges. Let's explore how you can do that. First, it's important to understand that small actions can make a big difference over time. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow or move to another country to face a challenge. You can start with small steps that test you just a little bit. For example, if you are learning English, a small step might be joining an online conversation group or speaking English with a stranger at a cafe. If you are shy at work, a small step might be sharing your opinion in a meeting or offering to help with a project you usually avoid. These are not life-changing moves right away, but they are small pushes that help you grow stronger and braver. Here's another example. Maybe you want to improve your health. A small step could be trying a new sport or going to a fitness class where you don't know anyone. It feels a little scary at first, but once you try, you realize it's not so bad. Maybe you want to improve your social life. A small step could be joining a club or event where you meet new people. Even if you feel nervous, you can remind yourself, it's okay to try a small new thing today just to practice. Over time, these small actions help you get used to stepping outside your comfort zone. So, how do you handle the fear that comes with facing potential failure? That's a very important question. First, remember that fear is normal. Everyone feels it, even people who look confident on the outside. Fear is just your brain trying to protect you from something new or unknown. But here's the good news. You don't have to wait for fear to go away before you act. You can feel afraid and take action at the same time. One helpful tip is to break down the challenge into smaller parts. For example, if you are scared of speaking in public, you don't have to start by giving a big speech. Start by speaking to 1 or 2 people or by asking a question in class. If you are scared of applying for a new job, start by updating your resume or talking to someone in that field. Taking one small step makes the challenge feel less overwhelming. Another tip is to prepare yourself well. Fear often comes from feeling unprepared. So, if you're going to try something new, do your homework. If you want to try something new, learn about it first. If you want to take a chance at work, make sure you understand the task or project. Preparation doesn't remove all fear, but it makes you feel more confident and ready. Also, remind yourself that mistakes are part of learning. Many people avoid challenges because they are afraid of failing. But as we talked about earlier, failure is not the enemy, it's a teacher. Every time you try something new, you get a little stronger, even if things don't go perfectly. If you try speaking English and make a mistake, you learn. If you try a new project and it doesn't work, you gain experience. Instead of thinking, what if I fail? Try thinking, what can I learn from this? Finally, celebrate your small wins. Every time you try something new, give yourself credit. Maybe you spoke up in a meeting, joined a new class, or shared an idea with someone. Take a moment to say, good job. These small celebrations help you build confidence and make it easier to keep trying new things in the future. So, my friend, remember this. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment, and you don't have to take huge leaps right away. You can start small, take little steps, and slowly build your courage. Here on English Echo Pod, we believe that every learner, including you, has the power to grow, change, and achieve great things, one small step at a time. What happens when you don't face failure? We've been talking all about why overcoming the fear of failure is important in life. But now, let's stop and think about something many people don't often ask. What happens when you don't face failure? This is an important question because the answer can help you understand why staying too safe can actually hold you back in life. Let's explore this together. First, when you don't face failure, you can miss many opportunities. Imagine that you want to improve your English, but you are too afraid to practice with other people. You keep studying alone, but you never join a class or speak in real conversations. What happens? You miss the chance to improve faster. You miss meeting new people, learning from your mistakes, and growing your confidence. Life gives us many doors to open, but if we never dare to walk through them, we miss what's on the other side. These opportunities don't wait forever. Sometimes they come only once, and if you don't take action, they pass you by. Second, when you avoid facing failure, you can feel stuck in the same place for a long time. Think about it like this. Life is like a road, and each step you take moves you forward. But if you are too scared to try new things or make changes, you stay in one spot. Maybe you stay in the same job you don't enjoy, or you stay quiet when you really want to speak up. Or you keep dreaming but never take action. Over time, this can make you feel frustrated and unhappy. You might wonder, why is nothing changing? But the truth is, change often comes when you are willing to try something new and accept the possibility of failure. Without that step, you can end up walking in circles going nowhere. Another important point is that when you don't face failure, you limit your personal growth. Remember, growth comes when we challenge ourselves. If you always do what feels safe and easy, you stay at the same level. You don't push your skills, you don't test your strength, and you don't discover what you are really capable of. For example, if you never try to speak English because you're afraid of making mistakes, you never learn from corrections. If you never try something difficult, you never learn how strong and smart you really are. Growth is like a muscle. It only gets stronger when you use it. Without facing challenges, you don't give yourself the chance to grow. I also want to mention something important about regret. Many people who avoid challenges later feel regret because they realize they didn't live the life they wanted. They think back and say, "I wish I had tried that," or, "I wonder what would have happened if I had taken that chance." Regret is a heavy feeling, and it often comes not from the things we tried and failed at, but from the things we were too afraid to try at all. Of course, this doesn't mean you should try everything without thinking. It's smart to be careful and thoughtful. But if you let fear control you all the time, you close the door to many beautiful things life can offer you. You lose the chance to build new skills, meet new people, find new paths, and discover your own hidden talents. So, my friend, as you listen to this, I invite you to think about your own life. Are there small or big things you've been avoiding because of the fear of failure? Are there dreams or goals waiting for you to take a step forward? Remember, staying safe might feel comfortable, but it also keeps you small. When you learn to face smart, thoughtful challenges, you open the door to a bigger, richer, and more exciting life. Real-life examples of overcoming the fear of failure. So far, we have discussed what failure means, why people fear it, and why it is important for your personal growth. But maybe you are still wondering, what does overcoming the fear of failure actually look like in real life? That's a great question. In this part, I want to share some simple and clear examples of real people who face challenges in their everyday lives. These examples will help you understand how you can apply this idea to your own life. Let's start with the first example, a student learning a new language. Imagine you decide to learn English. At the beginning, it feels exciting but also scary. You worry about making mistakes, saying the wrong word, or not understanding people. But you try anyway. You join an English class, you start practicing with people online, and you speak even when you are nervous. Sometimes people may correct you or you may feel shy. But over time you improve. You learn more words, you speak more fluently, and you become proud of yourself. If you never took that first step to open your mouth and try, you would never reach that level of confidence and ability. Now let's look at another example, someone changing jobs. Imagine you have a safe job but you don't feel happy or challenged. You dream of working in a new field, maybe something you are passionate about like design or teaching. But changing jobs feels risky. What if the new job is too hard? What if you fail? What if you lose the security you had before? These are normal fears. But people who take the chance of changing jobs often discover that they grow a lot. They learn new skills, meet new people, and find more satisfaction in their work. Even if the first try is not perfect, they gain experience and open the door to better opportunities in the future. Another common example is starting a small business or new project. Imagine you have an idea to open a small cafe, start an online shop, or launch a creative project like writing a blog. Taking the first step feels very risky. You may worry about losing money, wasting time, or failing in front of others. But many successful people started exactly this way, with an idea and the courage to try. They planned carefully, worked hard, and learned from mistakes. Even if the first business or project fails, they gain valuable experience that helps them succeed in the next one. Without taking that first step, they would never know what they are capable of. Finally, let's talk about speaking up in front of people. This can feel like a small thing, but for many people it's very scary. Maybe you are in a meeting at work or a class at school, and you have an idea or a question. You feel nervous. What if people laugh? What if I say something wrong? But when you take the chance and speak up, you show courage. You share your thoughts, you help move the conversation forward, and you grow your confidence. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, you become someone who can speak clearly, lead discussions, and inspire others. All because you face small challenges again and again. These real-life examples show us that overcoming fear of failure is not always about huge, dramatic actions. Sometimes they are small, everyday choices that push us to grow and improve. Whether you are learning a language, changing jobs, starting a project, or speaking up in a group, you are taking a step toward a bigger, more exciting life. Remember, the goal is not to be reckless, but to face smart, thoughtful challenges that help you move forward. Final thoughts and motivation. I'm so proud of you for staying with me until now. We've talked a lot about overcoming the fear of failure. What it means, why people fear it, why it's important, and what happens when you don't face it. Now, I want to leave you with some final thoughts and motivation to help you carry these ideas into your own life. First, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. Think about your own life and your own journey. Where are you right now? Are you playing it safe in some areas? Are there things you've been dreaming about but avoiding because of fear? Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect time, or maybe you've been telling yourself, I'm not ready yet. But here's the truth, there is no perfect time and you may never feel 100% ready. And that's okay. Growth begins the moment you take a small step outside your comfort zone. So, take a deep breath, look at your life and ask yourself, what small thing can I try to move forward? I also want to remind you that it's okay to make mistakes. Yes, you heard me right. Failure is not the end, it's just part of the journey. In fact, many successful people will tell you they made many mistakes before they succeeded. Think of mistakes as a teacher, not an enemy. Every time you stumble, you learn something new. Every time you make a mistake, you grow a little stronger and wiser. So, don't be afraid of falling, be afraid of never trying. Remember, no one becomes great at anything without a few stumbles along the way. You are allowed to stumble, you are allowed to try again. And here's a positive message I want you to carry in your heart today. You are stronger than you think. Yes, you. You have more strength, more courage, and more ability inside you than you realize. Sometimes we forget this because we only look at our fears and weaknesses. But if you try even one small thing and succeed, or even if you try and learn from it, you will start to see just how capable you are. You will begin to believe in yourself more. Every little success, every small step forward helps build your confidence and reminds you that you can handle challenges. So, here is my call to action for you, my friend. I want you to try one new thing this week, just one. It doesn't have to be big or scary. It can be something simple but meaningful. Maybe you can join an English conversation group. Maybe you can raise your hand in class or at work to share your opinion. Maybe you can apply for that job you've been thinking about, start a new hobby, or reach out to someone you've been too shy to talk to. Whatever it is, choose one new thing and give yourself permission to try. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to succeed right away. You just have to be willing to take that first step. Remember, here on English Echo Pod, we are all about learning, growing, and improving together. I believe in you and I know you have what it takes to move forward even when it feels a little scary. So, as we finish today's episode, I want you to remember, life is an adventure. It's full of challenges, surprises, and opportunities. To live fully, you must be willing to learn from your mistakes, face your fears, and believe in your own strength. You don't have to do it all at once. Just start small, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep moving forward. You are already on your way to becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you so much, my friend, for staying with me until the very end of today's episode on English Echo Pod. I truly appreciate you spending your time with me, listening carefully, and learning together. It means a lot that you chose to be here, and I hope you found today's topic about overcoming the fear of failure helpful, inspiring, and easy to understand. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. I am here to support you, and so is the whole English Echo Pod community. I want to invite you to listen again to this episode whenever you need motivation or a little reminder that you are stronger than you think. Sometimes when we hear something a second or third time, we understand it even better. So, don't be shy about coming back and practicing your listening skills with this episode or any other episodes we have here on the podcast. The more you listen, the more your English will improve. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would be so happy if you could share it with a friend who is also learning English. Maybe they need a little motivation too. You can also like or subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. When you subscribe, you become part of our growing learning family, and you help support the podcast so I can keep bringing you useful and fun topics every week. Thank you again for being here, for listening, and for working hard on your English journey. I believe in you and I can't wait to talk to you again next time. Until then, take care, keep learning, and remember, you are doing great. See you soon on English Echo Pod.